What's up, everybody? Welcome to the FU podcast. I am your host, Devin Ewert, and I am flying solo today. So bear with me. It's not going to be your usual show because my other two hosts are not obviously here. So without further ado, welcome to everybody. Um, it is the FU podcast. This is episode 173. It is June 13th, 2023. Without further ado, I guess we'll go talk about the weather because that's usually how we start things off. The weather has been kind of crazy the last few days. It hailed today, and then Saturday they said it was supposed to be this huge, terrible storm, and I think it rained for like all of 10 minutes. So it was a beautiful day. Like there was no wind. It was absolutely amazing outside. So I'm like, these guys have lost their freaking mind. Now, of course, they more than made up for it on Sunday. Sunday we had some pretty gnarly storms roll through Flower Mound, Bartonville area. Apparently, they had baseball to softball size hail, which is really weird because I was expecting to see a ton of footage, from the storm, but like I've seen like two videos. That was it. So I was trying to pull some for the show to kind of like, hey, like this is what's going on in our neck of the woods, like literally down the street. And then of course today at work, Ashley, hi, how's it going? We had some hail that came through. Luckily, it was nowhere near the stuff that blew through Flower Mound in Bartonville area, but nonetheless, the weather's been kind of crazy here. I guess it's like literally the calm before the storm because I heard like all next week we're going to be in the hundreds, and so we'll see how long that's going to last. But should be a pretty starting off to be a crazy summer already. But looks like things to come is going to get ridiculous hot. It'll be like welcome to Satan or the gates of hell because that's what it's going to feel like in Texas here in the next few weeks. So I'm wondering, does anybody think that we're going to set some kind of record for, the days of over 100 degrees? Because I think we've set a couple records in the past, and with everything going on with, you know, freaking roads melting in, what is that, Philadelphia, with that gas trucker spill thing that's, they said temperatures were like 1,500 to 2,000 degrees, basically melted the highway, made it a pain in the ass for a couple 100,000 commuters that use that road every single day. But then, of course, like up in Canada, those wildfires that hit, all the smoke and stuff was felt and seen all the way through New York and Pennsylvania areas. The footage from that was absolutely like just looked almost like End of Times or was that Mad Max type of movies. Yeah, it was crazy as hell. Ashley says fire. Yeah, I feel like we're going to be stepping into the gates of hell the next few weeks. So if you guys have any projects that need to be done outside, either do them at night or do them first thing in the morning while it's relatively cool. I think today when I woke up, it was like 60 degrees, which I was like, what? Is this summertime? Am I in Texas? Like, what's going on here? Yeah, it's been a really crazy week for weather wise. I actually got pulled over today. Speaking of weather, on my lunch break, there was a guy that was in the left lane, and then there was this dude that like literally pulled out in front of all of us. And so I saw what was going on, and I saw the guy stopped in the guy's lane next to me. So I was like, "Oh, fuck this! I'm gonna go around him before the guy tries to swerve to miss the other dude." And of course, all of a sudden, my radar detector goes off, and the dude had lasered me. I was like, "Ah, fuck!" Because radar detector, you can usually sense that ahead of time. I don't know if anybody like knows anything about radar detectors and stuff like that, but like if you have a laser detector, like that shit is as soon as you get lasered, you're screwed. Like there's no warning. And so I literally pulled over and I said, man, I was like, explain the situation. I was like, I'm completely in the wrong. Like I'm 100% accountable. I was like that black, it was an Infinity, like that literally cut us off, explain the situation. He goes back to his car and he comes back to my car and I'm like, I see nothing in his hand. And I'm like, yes, maybe I'm like getting out of this. Like, cause usually they come back with like this notepad or some kind of digital device or whatever. He comes back, gives me my ID. He's like, hey man, just slow down. And I was like, oh, thank God. And so I go to the bank and run a few errands that I had to run. And then as I was coming back, lo and behold, this guy pulled somebody else already over. I was like, man, he is he's going to town today. He's busting people left and right. but I understand why. Like that road, I think it's Cooper, something like that. Yeah, dude, there's everybody speeding down that road. It's like 4 lanes each direction, so 8 lanes total. And yeah, people just haul ass through it. But I had a legit reason. But anyway, yeah, so I was sitting at the light after all that shit had happened, and like my butthole puckered up whenever I got pulled over. I was like, I hate that's like the one thing that I can't stand is get pulled over. And I'm sitting there at the stoplight, after I'd already passed him, after I got my errands done, already passed him, and I get to the light, heading back to my office, and all of a sudden I hear this boom, like crack, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Like it had, mind you, it hasn't even been raining, and it was like this lightning strike that literally struck right next to my car, and it like freaked the and I, like it was so loud that it set my motion or the crash detector off on my little dash cam thing. So I was like, "Shit, I wonder if the dash cam got the lightning bolt on film. That'd be badass." Ah, that Ashley said, "No, you cried like a baby to get out of it." No, no tears. I was completely 100% honest. I was like, "You know what? Let's try this. Let's try this whole honesty thing. Maybe honesty is the best policy kind of thing." And I was 100% forthcoming, told like, "Hey, it was my fault." Like, and I even shook the guy's hand afterwards. And I said, "Man, I appreciate what you're doing. Like, I understand, like, trying to keep the streets, safe, blah, blah." And I was like, "I really appreciate you letting me go with a warning." So that be said, I gotta be careful in Arlington now. So speaking of police, apparently in Fort Worth, 11 people were arrested for an online sexting. Not sexting, but a sex sting. So I just want to make sure everybody's clear on that. You're allowed to sext each other, but not like have a sex sting. So the Fort Worth police arrested 11 people on charges of online solicitation of a minor during a sting operation that took place Thursday, June 9th, 2023. This sting operation was conducted by the Fort Worth PD Special Victims Unit (SVU). Undercover officers posed as minors on social media platforms and chatted with people who were looking to have you know relations with people under the age of 17, because I don't want to get banned and blocked and all that sort of stuff. I can't believe like as many of these stories you hear that are all in the DFW area. Like it's blows my mind that this stuff is still going on, and with all the organizations and stuff that are out there, and even some of the ones that I've worked with, it's mind blowing. And in fact, I think we have a story that I'm going to go ahead and skip around and talk to about next because it goes along with that. Um, I know you guys have heard of the Amber Alert, and it's annoying as shit. I know it goes off all hours of day and night, and everybody's like trying to figure out how to turn this shit off. But they're trying to pass a new bill that's called the Athena Alert Bill. So this one is inspired by the death of the 7-year-old Athena Strand, and it's headed to the governor Abbott, which I can't fucking stand. That's a whole nother story. The bill would allow law enforcement to issue an alert for missing children, even if there's no evidence that they have been abducted. Wait a minute, let me think about that. So there's no evidence that this child has disappeared. They're going to issue an alert, like just because they hey, you know what? I'm gonna call them up. Say, hey, I just think you need issue an alert. No, there's got to be some kind of evidence. Like this story doesn't even make no damn sense. So anyway, Athena Strand was abducted and killed in December 2022. An Amber Alert was not issued until the following day after her body was found. Her family and friends believe that if an alert had been issued sooner, she might have been found alive. Yeah, so that's going back to the last story about, the trafficking and all the stuff that's been going on. The biggest problem that that has happened with the Amber Alert and with the trafficking and all that sort of stuff is that whole 24-hour wait period. So if those of you who don't know, anytime there's an Amber Alert or anything, they have to wait a whole 24 hours before they can initiate the Amber Alert. This goes with police investigating and stuff like that. They can't file a missing persons for at least 24 hours. So obviously, a lot, being that we're in Texas, a lot can happen in 24 hours. Like literally, they can be in another country in less than 24 hours. So that's the huge loophole with the bill. The way organizations and stuff work. Back when I was doing a film, uncovering the human trafficking and stuff like that, that was one of the organizations that we worked alongside. Was they actually start working as soon as you call them? So instead of like the police, where they have that 24-hour hold period where nothing's getting done and nobody's investigating shit, this it's like almost like a private investigative service. They start investigating ASAP. So what happens is they come in from minute one and they start investigating. They start reaching out to their resources like the NSA, the FBI, all the alphabet boys is what I call them, and they start piling up the information. They start, going looking at cameras. They look at, different things that they can get their hands on, cell phone data, tower pings, all that sort of stuff. So once the police finally start their investigation, they have a mountain of data already, and a mountain of evidence that's already piled up. And why this has not hit mainstream is like just blows my mind. But hopefully with this bill, with the Athena Strand alert bill, the Athena alert bill, hopefully that will change, and like you know we'll get more information sooner. They'll be able to start investigating sooner, which means they're not going into it empty handed. They're literally going into it from the get go and accumulating as much information as possible. Because that's the other thing too, is if you're going to start interviewing witnesses and stuff 24 hours later, hell, I can't remember what I did 24 hours ago. How the hell you expect me to, you know what I mean? Like, you got to get it while it's still fresh in people's heads, and while the data and while the cameras and stuff, before something happens to the cameras or whatever, that you got to get that information, you got to get that data, you got to get as much evidence piled up as fast as possible. Where are you parking at? You okay over there? Apparently little Sapphire's. What's wrong, baby girl? You got a limp? Come here. Come here, Sapphire. Come here. What's wrong, baby? Come here. Come here, girl. I think Willow and Sapphire got into it because Sapphire's limping on her left paw. Can you check her left foot out? Something's. I don't know if Willow got to her or what. All right. Well, thanks. Awesome. Teamwork makes the dream work. I guess I'll have to figure that out on my own after the podcast. That's wonderful. So anyway, going back to the stories and situations at hand. Yeah, there definitely needs to be some modifications, and there needs to be some improvements made. Unfortunately, that it's Abbott that's going to be the one responsible for that, but at least somebody's doing something. Let's see. Come here. Come here. Well, I was going to bring her on the camera, but she's being camera shy, apparently. What up, Andy? Welcome to the podcast, sir. I appreciate you tuning in. Glad you can make it. I hope you're doing well. Like to know how that trip's going. Hopefully, everything's good in your neck of the woods. I'm still waiting for your fucking reply from 3 days ago. Thanks very much, fuckface. Even if you're not here, I'll still talk some shit. Nah, I'm just playing. Let's see. Flower Mound fentanyl dealer pleads guilty to peddling over 1,000 pills. So that's what's going down in Flower Mound apparently these days. Damn, we leave the neighborhood and it all goes to shit. An 18-year-old man from Flower Mound pleaded guilty on Tuesday to selling over 1,000 fentanyl-laced pills. Stephen Brinson was arrested in March after police found pills, cocaine, marijuana, and 2 guns in his home. Damn, this guy was starting a fucking party. Brinson, who was known as Steve-O. Yeah, I mean, he kind of looks like Steve-O. To his clients, used an Instagram account to sell the round blue pills marked with an M-30 to make them look like oxycodone pills. He faces up to 40 years in federal prison when he is sentenced in September. Andy says, listen as long as I can at 6 p.m. here. Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you tuning in. Where are you going to grab some grub? Do y'all know yet? So I'm interested. Fentanyl is a powerful opioid that is often mixed with other drugs, such as heroin and cocaine. It's a leading cause of overdose deaths in the United States. Brance's case is a reminder of the dangers of fentanyl and importance of being aware of the signs of an overdose. If you think someone is ODing, call 911 immediately. If you want to know some signs of the fentanyl overdose, slow breathing, blue lips or fingernails, loss of consciousness, seizures. You see someone with any of these signs, call 911. Like I said, it can be fatal, which obviously that's why they're throwing the book at this dude's face, which rightly so. Apparently, I didn't know this was a thing, but the colony police are cracking down on car shows. And I first read this headline. I'm like, dude, what the hell's going on at car shows? Because my boy Raymond, he's been running a car show for like 10 years now. And so I was kind of like, oh, that's gonna definitely put a damper on his business. But apparently, they're trying to crack down on these car shows because of allegations of criminal activity. The department has sent popular promoters Park Up Front, which on many of y'all, I've used the app. I think 3 of my cars are on there. Notice that it will no longer approve permits for their monthly car shows. The department says that the car shows have been linked to illegal street racing, reckless driving, and noise complaints. In one incident, a driver was arrested after he allegedly drove his car into a crowd of people at a car show. I bet you anything it was a fucking Mustang. And I bet it wasn't intentional either. But it's a Mustang and nobody knows how to fucking drive them because they suck. Park Up Front says that it's disappointed in the department's decision and that it will appeal the decision. The company says that it has worked with the police department in the past to address any concerns about the car shows. The police department says that it is open to working with Park Up Front to find a solution that will allow the car shows to continue without criminal activity. So that's what's going on in the colony. Here's some chaos. Bull escapes from a trailer in Denton. Meanwhile, so a bull escaped from a trailer in Denton, right, on Saturday night, leading to a 3-hour chase. The bull was being transported to a slaughterhouse when it broke